Whoa, Roger, Denise, Mike. This is day 1+ after the official drop date of Roddenberry Vault.
And we're still alive.
And you're still alive.
And we're still in shock.
Since we're on, I want to talk about the disc. And yeah, that. This
beautiful collection.
Look at just this. Open it. I just love that. It opens like a vault.
Yeah, we're very proud of this packaging.
I was going to say, who came up with that?
This was the one and only Ken Ross at CBS Home Entertainment, who, again, a great group of people to work with. Flip it back
and do it again. All the way.
Because it wasn't just about...
It's got this magnetic enclosures.
Yeah, we can hear that.
And we had many phone calls, many conversation about what was the ideal way to... release the product, what was the packaging, did it all fit into the theme of this time capsule and the lost footage. And actually, Mike, the initial version of this, it was Mike Okuda here who kind of designed it for us. Mike actually, I think, photographed some of the film cans, if I'm not mistaken, and because we went to
actually Phil had a photographer do it, but
Phil had a photographer, but I know we were all involved, but you were hands-on for a lot of this, and we worked very closely with...
so those are actual cans in the photo?
Yeah.
I thought they had to
be.
I knew
and these came from... We were in the middle of production on the project when packaging was still being designed, so we were able to utilize a lot of the imagery that we felt best highlighted the wonderful bits of I don't know what we call the gold, you know.
Well, you got you got Peter Kirk. You have an unseen shot of the Botany Bay. You have Jim Rugg putting tribbles on the transporter room. You've got you have McCoy in Shore Lake. You never saw that moment.
The actual vehicle, the truck hitting Edith Keeler.
That was you never saw it. Was that one? Yeah.
You have Clint Howard's home
Clint's father took these when he was on the set of Corbin White Maneuver, and Clint was very nice to provide us with those. So all this stuff, these are just little snippets of what's in the documentaries. Yeah. But we feel that it really conveys the point of the time capsule idea behind everything. And then once you open everything up, you have 1, 2 layers, I guess, and then you have
and then slip out the bottom
collection here.
So it really is holding it in like that's what was ingenious to me about it, is you actually have to open the vault door to actually get to the Blu-rays.
It's beautifully executed, we think, and again, just the attention to the level of detail, you know. It's just fantastic.
Well, awesome.
I love this, you know, with the the tape on each one of them describing the episode it came from. So,
well, our friends at CBS really wanted to do something that was special for the 50th, and we're so happy they settled on this project.
And we're extremely happy that we can finally talk about it.
Right.
Secret,
I was going to say,
big secret.
This brings it home, but this has been, like you said, 9 years, and increasingly on the upswing here, that you can finally have it out and talk about it.
Right. I mean, we almost never thought we would, especially this year, because it was so intense doing the interviews and putting together the documentaries and weaving the footage in. It was a lot of work.
And in addition, we had conventions, events, you know, 50th anniversary screenings, all these things that we had to take part in, which, you know,
those were a lot of fun.
Well, they were a lot of fun, but, you know, they took time away from being in the edit bay.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's done. We can talk about it. Yay!
And here it is. And what struck me was you're talking about 9 years. And I'm gonna. Can I grab this?
Please.
I meant to have that nearby. This, if you talk about 9 years, nothing epitomizes 9 years like this.
Yeah. First of all, during the process, this was so secret. We couldn't even say what it was. So we had a top secret code word, and we're going to tell you what it is. The code word for the product is Sargon.
Ah, never fear.
Yes, Sargon is here.
Sargon is here.
And Denise and I went through all the footage, and we cataloged everything.
Yeah, and when we say footage, we're talking about the day that Trevor and Rod said, "Hey, here's a vault of cans." Or what was that? What was the moment?
Well, Mike and I were asked to come down to a warehouse and sign a non-disclosure, and we went in and saw rows and rows and rows of film cans. And on the sides of the film cans were titles of original series episodes. So Mike and I were just like, oh my gosh.
What about this?
Yeah. And we opened the cans, and there were differing various sizes of film. Some were very small, some a little bigger. We didn't know, what is this? And then
some just a few seconds, some a couple of minutes.
Snippets.
Right.
And then we did see some of the footage that they had already processed, and we were like, oh my God, this is the Holy Grail. This is it. This is something that we had hoped for so many years existed. And then the journey became on again, off again for 9 years, and then pretty intense in the last couple of years, and very intense this year.
So when did that binder start? Yeah, show us that.
Well, we finished this
Project Sargon.
We finished the catalog in 2014, but you can see an extraordinary amount of detail.
So let's look at the column headings. Which was find some. Yeah,
there's just so much material, and especially at the beginning, we didn't really know what we were looking for. So we were trying to get a sense of what was there. We didn't know if Roger and the folks at CBS were going to want to, do you want to do something funny? Do you want to do a documentary? Do you just want outtakes? Do you want to talk about the filmmaking process?
We want it all.
And then it turned out Roger wanted
it all. Was going to take a lot more than 9 years.
Well, the point was you're cataloging and indexing that, and you don't want to go through it more than once. So you're trying to collect all the information you could possibly use for whatever.
Yeah.
And your ultimate grading there was how your 1 to 5 scale of how.
That was a rough guess.
That was a rough guess, and yet when we went into the project, we figured out that we needed a lot of stuff that was MOS. And so that completely turned the go. I mean, that was something we had not even thought about. I mean, Roger was saying, I want
MOS being without sound.
Without sound. And so that's a very specific thing. And so we kind of had to go back.
Yeah, initially we were concentrating on purely things with sound.
With sound.
And we realized, there's value in stuff without sound.
There's a lot of gems in there.
Well, what happens is when you're building a narrative for these documentaries to tell the story of the show and the production and all these things, you have a lot of people on camera. You have the typical talking heads. So the idea was, can we cover up as many of those talking heads with really interesting visuals from the vault? So that led us to just kind of analyze everything and start thinking about what are those things that could work without sound, so that they can be over those interviews.
And that's something we hadn't really thought about.
Yeah, and also Roger knows all the documentaries, all of the behind-the-scenes making-ofs that have come before.
Right.
So he'll when he does interviews, he would ask questions of people that he'd say, okay, last time on the Paramount Blu-ray you talked about this, so let's talk about that. And that would lead us. We'd say, oh, well, let's see if we can find an example of what that person is talking about. So something that we thought was marginally interesting suddenly illustrates an important point that some actors talk about.
Yeah, right. The challenge was finding that balance between new stories, also new individuals, people we haven't really seen.
I was going to say there's a lot of fresh faces, a lot of fresh insight on this.
So it was that, finding new voices, hearing new stories, but also telling the classic stories, because the documentaries do cover the origins of the show, and it's been explored many times before, but we wanted to explore it from a different perspective, a different angle. And something that organically, worked with the footage from the vault.